After a long journey, millions of Egyptians headed to the polls since early morning, and for the first time in their modern history, will be able to choose their president. The importance of the moment cannot be overstated. Policymakers and policy wonks alike will be eagerly watching from all over the globe to see the outcome of the race. Although some Egyptians are concerned about potential forgery and violations, and some potential voters are boycotting the process, explaining that elections cannot be reliable. However, various NGOs and international observers plan to monitor the elections, which may give voters some relief, alongside the Supreme Presidential Electoral Commission itself and presidential candidates' delegates. Cairo Criminal Court, headed by Judge Ahmed Rifat and held at the Police Academy, began the trial of former President Hosni Mubarak, his sons Alain Gamal, Habib Al-Adli, former Interior Minister, and 6 of his top aides, on charges of corruption and ordering the killing of protesters. The ousted president missed the session's hearing due to the bad weather for the first time since his trial opened last August, after a sandstorm prevented his helicopter from taking off, as he has attended every previous hearing in the trial. The successive events on the Egyptian arena saw the light, even temporary, from the trial of the former president Hosni Mubarak and the rest of the co-defendants, while the defendants continued pleading in front of the court. At the Arab League Council headquarters in Cairo, held a meeting between the Arab Thought Forum and the Secretary General of the Arab League Council, Dr. Nabil Al-Arabi. The Arab world nowadays is demanding social justice, freedom and freedom of speech, and this joint Arab action is meant to transfer the Arab countries to be like one united organization. The meeting between the Arab Thought Forum and the Arab League Council is the start for a joint collaboration between the two organizations to put a clear plan for a joint Arab work. Within the framework of exerted Arab efforts, Arab League Council hosted in Egypt a broad meeting for Syrian opposition to outline a unified vision over power transition in their country, in which Arab League Secretary General addressed nearly 250 members of the Syrian opposition at this meeting in an effort to coax the disparate groups to pull together, assuring that the Syrian people are bigger than any organization and more valuable than any narrow differences or fraction disputes. This meeting is a quantum leap in the effort exerted to unify political stances of Syrian opposition, especially that the situation now in Syria is in deep need for launching real political process for achieving Syrian people aspiration as well as staunch bloodshed, after the transition plan agreed in Geneva did not make any explicit call for Assad to cede power.
لم أعتاد في حياتي إلا أن أنتفض دفاعاً عن الحق العام. الحق العام الذي يتصل بمصر، مصر الوطن، مصر الشعب، مصر المستقبل. وأتصور أن أخطر ما تواجهه مصر في هذه اللحظات الفارقة هو تهديد دولة القانون وسيادة القانون واستقلال القضاء.
Al-Jabali said in her press conference that it's for the first time in the history of Egyptian constitution to sit all the members of the Constitutional Court by the president, which means that the country is in danger. Despite the passage of the constitution and the announcement of various political parties their willingness to contest the upcoming parliamentary elections, the political conflict in the Constitutional Court did not end, especially with the demands of the prosecutors and judges. Hundreds of protesters gathered at Qasr al-Nil Bridge beside Tahrir Square in the second anniversary of the most violent day of Egypt's revolution, the Day of Anger, as 14 political movement and revolutionary parties called the people to continue the revolution and claim its goals. Protesters performed absentia prayers on the souls of all martyrs who lost their lives from the beginning of the revolution 2 years ago till date. Although protesters demanded non-aggression or clash with police and announced the peacefulness of their protests, but clashes erupted between protesters and security forces, and the situation turned to be violent, with particularly heavy use of tear gas filled the whole neighborhood. Dozens of protesters hurled rocks and Molotov cocktails, and police responded with tear gas in an attempt to push them back. The situation is not good, as it shows. At the Arab League Council headquarters in Cairo, held an extraordinary meeting at the level of permanent delegates, attended by the Secretary General Dr. Nabil Al-Arabi and chaired by Oman Permanent Delegate Sheikh Khalifa bin Ali Al-Harthi, to discuss the prospects of increasing Arab aid to the Somali people who have been suffering from famine due to the drought currently sweeping the country.
الوضع في الصومال وفي القرن الإفريقي سيء للغاية. الأزمة خطيرة جدا، ولابد من أن جميع الدول وجميع المؤسسات الدولية تشارك في نجدة الصومال بأسرع ما يمكن.
The extraordinary meeting of the permanent delegates of the Arab League Council is considered a quick response that affirmed the Arab solidarity with the Somali people in the face of this catastrophe that is sweeping the Horn of Africa and deeply affecting their livelihood. The Saharati, or the human cockerel, is a very important and unique character. This staple of the Egyptian culture is the lonely soul who walks the shadows streets just before dawn with a drum, chanting traditional Saharati songs to draw people out of their slumber and get ready for suhoor.
اصحى يا نايم وحد الدايم رمضان كريم.
Although it's 2012, but Egyptians are still reviving the old Ramadan traditions while adding some contemporary details to make it fitting for the current era. For Ramadan Around the World, this is Ghada ElSayeh reporting from Cairo. An Egyptian court sentenced 21 of the 73 defendants to death penalty on trial for Port Said massacre for their part in the deadly riot last year at a football stadium when at least 74 people of Al Ahly fans were killed on the 1st of February 2012. Although the verdicts were met with cheers by ultras, but still it did not prevent clashes and chaos from being occurred, as thousands of defendants' relatives protested with extreme anger in Port Said. Violence erupted in the city, where more people got killed and injured. Outside the court, a small group of protesters gathered under a backing sun held aloft banners demanding justice. There was also a tight security presence, but didn't prevent some clashes between the pro and anti-Mubarak from being occur. The public interest in the trial seems to be waning as the number of opponents and supporters attending appear to be fewer than the previous hearings. Egyptians remain polarized by the former leader as the country struggles to move forward under the new government elected in June. The country remains in disarray, a stage marked by political polarization, repeated violence between political opponents, and a crippling economic crisis. For KSA2, this is Ghada ElSayeh, Cairo.